put the safety off when you want to shoot. Dude, that 3-inch didn't want to work. Did you see that? Wow. That was... Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by the channel, giving us a watch. Hey, and if you're not subscribed, you really should think about it, because we do have a lot of other cool stuff, like stuff we're doing today. A lot of other cool videos, gun related, shooting, gun reviews that you really might like, so you should consider subscribing. And if you like this video, make sure to give us a like. So today we're here to go over this beautiful black polymer UTS-15 made by UTAS, which many of you may know is a Turkish company. However, you may be excited to find out that this gun is actually made in America. Of course, Turkish design. This is another bullpup shotgun. We already reviewed the DP12. If you haven't seen that video, please go check it out. That thing is really cool. We've been really trying to get our hands on one of these, and we finally did. This thing was really, really awesome to finally get a hold of, hold it. I mean, does this not look cool? I mean, this looks awesome. It reminds me of something like out of Starship Troopers, the movie. Maybe some of you might be too young to even know that movie, but great movie. Anyway, this was one of the original futuristic, like bullpup style shotguns. I think the first one might have been the KSG or something like that. Anyway, this one just really blew us away a long time ago, just with its looks, its operation. As you probably know, it has 2 feeding tubes on each side up here. It has 1 barrel, and it has 2 separate loading ports, one here and on this side. As you can probably already see, this is a right-hand friendly gun, and that's mainly because, well, it does have an ambidextrous safety, and of course this is unsafe. Safety is much bigger on this side where a right-hander's thumb would be, plus the ejection port is right here. You say, you know, safety is just a little smaller there. Now, one thing that is cool about this is technically it's ambi in most operation, and that does work. And another reason it's ambi is because, you know, you might be looking and thinking that the slide release is somewhere around here that you can hit with both sides, but it's not. It took us a while to find it, actually. It's way back here, this little button, which kind of sucks. As you can see, that as soon as you rack it back, the ejection port opens because there's a little magnet here that attaches to the bolt, and when it disappears, this flips open. So pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, this is kind of the one big gripe I have about this gun is this weird slide release way back here. I don't know why they put it there, because you literally have to take your hand completely off the grip and trigger to pull this, which is not the case on many other shotguns that, of course, have it up here or, you know, somewhere around here. So kind of odd that they did that, but whatever, they did. But technically would make it ambidextrous, because you could operate that, you know, whatever, if you're right-handed or left-handed. I'm going to just go right into one of the biggest things about this gun. It is a little finicky, and there's probably a decently high percentage of user error happening, causing hangups with the gun. Technically, this does operate pretty good in most situations. However, you really have to be like almost perfect execution when you're handling it and using it. This is not, even though it's pump action, this is not your dad's Remington 870, that's for sure. It's definitely finicky with ammo. It tends to like new, fresh ammo. If you have a bunch of loads saved up from decades ago, it might have a hard time with some of that stuff. The biggest cool thing about it, though, is that obviously it holds a lot of ammo. You know, it supposedly holds 7 on each side plus 1 for a total of 15. And that's 2 3/4 inch shells. It can hold 3 inch, so it's going to be 1 less in each side. this thing has a selector switch right here, which if you have it in the middle, it's going to actually suck in one from one tube, then the next round will be from the other tube, and it will literally, alternate tubes until it's empty, which is something that the KSG can't do, which originally made us think, wow, this thing is really sweet. You can shoot literally 14 rounds in a row. And the only thing is, sometimes it's hard, depending on your ammo, it's kind of hard to get all 7 in. And we'll show you in a little bit with a close-up exactly how that loading process happens. These loading doors are a little finicky too. They're kind of weird. We'll show you that in a second. Other than that, loading it is definitely kind of a time-consuming, somewhat painful process. You should not wear gloves while you're doing it. You couldn't get them caught in there. Same thing with the kel-tec and some other guns like this. Probably shouldn't wear gloves when you're loading it, but that's okay. Not too big of a deal. It has a nice big rail on top. You can mount whatever the heck you want up here. In the shooting footage that you're going to see, we had some regular flip-up sights, basically like AR style sights. You see them all, and we did get it sighted in pretty decently. I mean, we weren't shooting that far away, so that worked great. We did mess around with the selector switch to see what it really can do as far as in the middle of shooting, you switch it. Is it going to be able to handle that, or is it just one or the other? Because that was kind of a big attractive thing about this gun, is like you could load one tube fully with buckshot or something like that, and then the other tube could be birdshot. Now, can you switch on the fly, or is it just one tube, then it's empty, you switch to the other one, whole other tube? Or can you really switch back and forth? And if doing so, is that reliable? Is it going to hang up? Is there going to be issues with this switch? Do you have to, because if you want to shoot all of them in a row, that would suck if you wanted to shoot 2 different types of ammunition. We will see some of this footage in a little bit, and you'll find out how that did. I don't want to spoil anything because it's kind of interesting. So that covers some of the main points about this gun that you may or may not already know about. This thing is actually somewhat light, I guess we'll say, for how big it looks. A lot of it's polymer, and one of the biggest problems that I see with this thing, just from handling it, is it seems I don't know how strong polymer really is. I think it's somewhat strong, but it just seems really chintzy, honestly. Like, you probably can't see from here, but I mean, these are the loading windows, so you can actually see your ammunition. This just feels like it's going to break. And I mean, it is bolted in several spots, but then like over here, this part on both sides can like flip up. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's on there very well. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is the little tiny safety. If you happen to be left-handed, that's what you get. Still very functional. You just get a bigger one on the other side. Of course, head on fire, but there's nothing in here. Then this loading port, the ejection port up here, there's that little magnet I was talking about. So it's actually really cool. You slide that, just kicks the bolt right out of the way, and that comes open. Pretty nice. Close that up. Now, another thing that I really want to stress to you guys, these doors are a little weird. See this button right here? It looks like you want to press it like diagonally in, but you actually have to press it down. And they're both like that. It's not so much a problem getting it open, it's when you try and close it. So you'll see there's the plunger. First, you would have to bring this in, then you could drop your ammo in there and push it in. I'm not actually going to load it, but same thing on this side. Push your plunger in, and then this is a weird thing about this gun, which I don't know why it does this. It's kind of odd, but as soon as you close this, you'll see that shot forward again, and it loads the cartridge. So technically, when this is all full, you could just drop one in and it's going to sit literally right in this space, and they'll load it in. And then however you have this selector switch, it will start loading that tube. Now the thing is, if you have it say in this position, it's actually going to take from this side. So this little lever is going to go in the opposite direction of whatever tube you want to feed out of. But say it's in this position and you start loading them in both sides. See, there's that plunger going forward again. See, yeah, you really have to make sure that you press those down and get that. It's just a little tiny lip on those catches. So say you have this all the way over here on this side, which means you're going to get two rounds from this tube. Well, say you load both of them, you close both the doors, the ammo will actually be visible in this gap. And you will see that the case on the shell, you will actually see the brass in there already ready. But what if you go, oh, I don't want to shoot it from this side, I want to shoot from this side? Well, you kind of can't. It's going to be stuck there. You know, you can switch it, and then the next round after that one will be from this side. But once it's already in this position, and once you've put rounds in, whichever one's engaged first, you're going to have to shoot that one first. Okay, so I'll just put this back to the middle. Also, another thing I was talking about, which is like this, the polymer, it just, I don't know, like, it's just very flimsy, and it just moves around a lot. Like, I don't know if you're going to be able to see how easy, like, this is very thin. And I mean, this is probably okay, but I don't know, it just feels like it could break or something. I don't know. Like, this whole thing really just moves around quite a bit. Now, what I will say is the slide is great. It's very wide. I mean, long. Got a lot of good grip. I mean, you can put your hand in several different positions. Like on some of these other guns, well, primarily the KSG, your hand pretty much has to be in one position. Because there'll be like a lot of plastic that comes down, but you'll have a gap down here, which will run into the trigger guard. So you have to have your hand in a certain spot when you rack it, or else it's gonna literally contact your hand. This is nice because you have all this room, like a typical shotgun. Now, I don't know if you're probably not going to be able to see this with the camera, but there's a nice little plaque here that actually says "Made in America." Not sure if it's going to be able to focus or not, but that's pretty interesting. I always thought these were made in Turkey, and apparently there's a lot of interesting Turkish guns out there that are imported to this country. We actually have a video on one of the cheapest shotguns you can get that was made in Turkey. It was pretty good. We really liked it. Now, honestly, like I said, we did have a lot of problems originally with this firearm, but we feel that we did shake them down, and hopefully a lot of those were just, human error, operator error. So we're going to continue to run this gun, and hopefully it performs as well as it did in the footage that you're going to see. So hopefully you enjoyed the review part of this. We're going to move on to the good stuff and see how this thing was out on the range on our compound. So, alright, so now we're going to load up the UTS-15, take a couple shots with it. Got these sights on here. They're adjusted pretty decent. Should be able to hit what we're trying to hit. So first, I'm just going to load shells in this left side tube, which means that the selector switch you actually push to the right side. That way it'll engage this kind of backwards. So we'll pop open the loading tab, push the plunger in, and start dropping these in. It's kind of goofy the way you got to put this latch on. It's a little weird. Alright, so the bolt release is down here. Put one in. Put on, well, might want to put these on first. Alright. And take a couple shots. Alright. So, looks like the sights were on pretty good. So, I'll put some more in. Probably going to try and do the middle selector and see if it'll run both tubes efficiently. I'm sure it will. See how that goes.
Alright, hi everybody. Now we're going to do the middle, where it's going to alternate between the left and the right chamber. So I'm going to add 3 and 3. We're going to open up these doors. There we go. Push the plungers back. There they are. Alright, I'm going to take some fresh Federal. Alright. Whoa. Alright, ready? Now, don't forget your ears. Don't want to bust the old eardrums. I'm going to rack one in. Alright, here we go. One that got stuck broke my stride, but I didn't let it break my spirit. Alright, so there you go. It alternated pretty well with newer ammo. But I'll tell you what, guys, you're using some of this old stuff that I got in auction, it's going to have some problems. Alright, now we're going to test out the ability to rapid fire this. So imagine you're in like a war zone or something and you just need to knock out like a convoy, and the only thing you have is your trusty Turkish UTAS. We'll see if this will live up to its expectations. And remember, you really gotta give that thing a good push, because this thing has given us a bit of trouble. Alright, ready for this? Ears, guys. Alright. Go rack my first one. Clearly, the convoy has survived, but they're scared, and that's all that matters. So what I would do, no, actually there's a bit of blood coming down, you can see it right there, so I'm going to take this and put on safety, of course, and then I'm going to go up to the infidel, or whoever it is, and I'm going to go and I'm going to, yeah, teach him a lesson. Yeah, woo! Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to scare him, not hit him really, and then you got to kick him where it, it hurts.